Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I know it is a Thursday late event. Hope you're having a fabulous re:Invent so far. And I know you're actually here because you see the opportunity in putting data to work, to delight your customers, to grow and optimize your business, and to make everyone in your company do better in their jobs with data. Now, if you're actually not stressed in or have unlimited budget, you may not actually get as much from this talk. But if you're among the most who are actually running hard just to stay in place and are stretched to take advantage of the opportunity to innovate, like with generative AI, then this session is for you. I am G2 Krishnamoorthy from AWS Analytics, and I'll be joined by Paul from Adidas, Sunil from GlobalFoundries, and Tom from UC Irvine. And we have a great agenda for you today. We want to help you to build a robust and nimble data foundation for all your needs. We want to help you simplify your data landscape. And we want to help you empower your users by putting the power of data in their hands. We'll cover some exciting launches, show some cool demos, share some inspiring stories. And we'll have some talking about one of my favorite topics, food. I think data and food have a lot in common. Let me explain. In this digital age, data fuels innovations. Like food fuels us, the innovators. Being data-driven is a lot like eating healthy. You know, fresh ingredients, balanced nutrition, no added sugar. Everyone knows that they should, but it's hard for most. And we know the payoff is big. Eating right means happy and healthy lives for years. And studies show that businesses that are actually data-driven have happier customers and make a lot more money, maybe 20% more money. But only 1 out of 4 organizations feel they are actually turning data into a strategic assets. Why is that? Maybe they're not working backwards. At Amazon, we are known for our working backwards approach. How would you actually apply that to your data strategy? Would you start with a beautiful solution architecture? No. Would you start by engaging some customers or consultants and spend a couple of years developing a comprehensive data strategy? Wrong. Working backwards means starting with a funded business initiative. Like, think about the value you want to create for your customers or your business. Like building a generative AI chat assistant that makes your customer support be better. As you're building this project, think about actually the capabilities that you need and expand your data foundation for it. This flywheel of building expertise in existing and emerging technologies and the culture and the processes to succeed with it builds your data foundation incrementally for your needs of today and in the future. Data is your transformation differentiator. And if your data is not ready, even the most capable large language model will not deliver on the business value. So what do you need in your data foundation? You must have access to the comprehensive set of tools for all your needs, from the tried and true data warehouses to the new and shiny large language models. It must be built to work together to make your jobs easy. It must have governance built in end-to-end, and it must tap into the power of machine learning and generative AI to make things easier, faster, cheaper. So today we'll actually talk about 4 areas. How to build a robust and nimble data foundation. How to simplify your data landscape. How to empower your users to innovate by giving them easy access to data and intuitive experiences to innovate and collaborate. And how to enrich every application with analytics and machine learning. Now, I'm going to break this down with some food analogies. Show of hands, any foodies here? Now, as for me, I love desserts. And my favorite dessert is mangoes, the fruit. It's really sweet, it is healthy because it's natural, and it's something I grew up with. Think about the strategy to eat healthy. Not every meal is the same. You have sit-down dinners with your family, you have bento box lunches that you take to work, and you have that on-the-go snack at your kid's soccer practice. Just like all your data users and use cases. Your strategy needs to help you eat right in each case, with fresh ingredients, balanced nutrition, and it must fit with your lifestyle. Like for me, I'm a vegetarian, so getting good protein takes some work. And you need good guardrails to keep that junk food and added sugar in check. Similarly, for your data strategy, you need a comprehensive set of tools and built-in governance. And it must fit your unique needs on compliance, on scale, on performance, or cost. Our lives are crazy busy, and we need things to be simple. Like local farm-to-table delivery service that makes getting fresh ingredients easy and sustainable. I'll talk later about how zero ETL will help you break down your data silos and keep your data fresh without breaking a sweat. And you need to unleash the culture of experimentation and creativity among your users, like fusion cuisine. I'm amazed with what creative chefs are actually doing with jackfruit as a vegetable. You know, growing up, I saw it as a sticky, smelly, but very tasty fruit. You want to empower your users to be as creative with data, to find tasty innovations for your business using the best ingredients in your data pantry. Finally, you need to infuse great experiences powered by analytics and machine learning in every application. Just like the convenience of grab-and-go food, it's fast, it's right where and when you need it. Now, your business environment is complex and constantly changing. You have new use cases like generative AI coming online. Your existing workloads are actually scaling. You may need to integrate an acquisition or comply with a new regulation. Our vision is working backwards from your needs. And your success is our funded business initiative. Let me summarize what I'm hearing from you as what is most important for your business. First, you need friction-free access and near real-time access to all your data, no matter where it lives. Databases, log streams, apps, marketplaces, warehouses, lakes, in AWS, on your premises, or in other clouds. And you need hassle-free management of this data. Get control of that copies of data and of ETL. You want to make all of this data available proactively to discover, to understand, and to innovate by everyone in your business, but with trusted guardrails to curate and protect this data to meet your compliance obligations. And you need to have access to the broadest set of tools to innovate and act on this data, from SQL to Spark to PyTorch to search to dashboards and generative AI. And you need simpler experiences and intuitive experiences to write queries, to code in your notebook, to build dashboards or applications so that you spend most of your time on your business initiative. And generative AI is a game changer here. Finally, you need to stretch your dollar and have the peace of mind of relying on secure and reliable operations. So let's see how we achieve this with the AWS data, analytics, and machine learning services. You know, at first glance, this looks like a jumble of icons. Hang on. Each one of these services were built working backwards from customers like you. And let me show you how they come together to realize the vision that we just talked about. AWS offers the most comprehensive set of services to manage your data, from databases to streams and logs to data warehouses or lakes or applications or data marketplaces. For an in-depth discussion on databases, please look at like Rahul and Jeff's innovation talk. They went into a lot of details there. And for analytics, we are breaking down silos between data warehouses and lakes. And with the zero ETL integrations, we are reducing the hassle of ETL and the need to copy data around. All this data is governed through a cohesive set of governance tools that enable you to understand, curate, protect, and collaborate. Like AWS Identity Center enables you to govern with your organizational identity like Okta or Entra. Glue Data Catalog and Lake Formation manages your lakes and warehouses alike. Glue Data Quality makes your data trustworthy. And Clean Rooms enables you to collaborate across organization. And Data Zone brings it all together, unlocking enterprise-wide discovery and governed sharing to put all your data to work. And we offer the broadest set of tools to innovate and act on all your data, giving you easy access to innovations in open source and our own, all with the best price performance by taking full advantage of Amazon's deep infrastructure innovations like Graviton, which is up to 30% more efficient for the analytical workloads. And we give you flexible deployment options to best suit your needs as managed services, managed clusters, or serverless. And we hear you loud and clear on the need for simplified experiences for builders and users. We are investing deeply in Query Editor, in notebooks, in QuickSight, and for applications to accelerate time to value for everyone. And I'll share more about how we are actually putting generative AI for work on this. As we talked about, your business environment is complex and constantly changing, and you need the comprehensive suite of data, analytics, and ML services that are built to work together under unified governance and with intuitive experiences. And we will continue to simplify and invent working backwards from your needs. So I would like to start with an inspiring grab-and-go business initiative from one of our customers, Adidas. Please join me to welcome Paul Vasu, Vice President of Platform Engineering at Adidas.
For a healthy living, we need great food, like mangoes, but we also need to do some sports. And today I bring you a sports story. Leading platform engineering at Adidas, I can speak at length about the many meaningful ways we use the AWS cloud, whether it's for product creation and design, for our future ERP solution, the data and analytics stack, or our massively scaling e-commerce platform. Today, however, is about our purpose. Our purpose at Adidas is through sports, we have the power to change lives. And the lives I'm going to talk about are those of young, enthusiastic soccer players, or how we call them anywhere else in the world, footballers. They too deserve affordable technology that would enable them to measure, to collect data, learn from it, and improve their performance. And a team at Adidas, an innovation team, has set off to solve just for that. And I'll roll a video to explain it how.
Adidas Team FX has 5 metrics in focus: top ball speed, distance traveled, top running speed, kick count, and explosiveness. Adidas redefines performance tracking in a highly competitive sport.
They can compare almost everything, how many passes I did, how many sprints I did, and it's all about they care. I need to improve, I need to have the data, I need to know my data to compare to others.
I love how the app provided a lot of stats. You got details from every single day on a specific day, so you could do better the next day.
Just to recap, the solution is made up of an ML-powered sensor that goes into a sole that goes into the shoe. After each training, after each game, the players would get access to the data and the metrics and enable them to learn. And we heard fantastic feedback on the reliability and the accuracy of the models and the solution as a whole. Yet having launched through COVID, it didn't quite yield the expected results. But we heard back from all over Europe from a group of people that asked us the same thing, and that was to evolve from a player-centric, fun experience to a professional team solution. And they were coaches of those teams. And They saw the potential and reached out. We listened to them, and together with an AWS digital innovation team, we have set off to use the mechanism G2 already mentioned, working backwards. We went to understand deeply what do they need, what are the needs of the players and the coaches at the same time, and how do we get to build a solution that intertwines into their day-to-day lives and helps them improve. Players, coaches, and teams alike. Now, having that in the hand, the PRFAQ, the storyboards, next stop was the design board. So, good news there. The backend was already running on AWS, mostly powered by serverless technologies. And they were scalable, cost-efficient, but they couldn't quite cater to all the use cases that we had in front of us for the professional team solution. Now, next to the open search service, for example, we needed to bring in something else, something new. And this is what the team has done, together with a prototyping team of AWS in Europe, to bring in 2 new fit-for-purpose data stores with Amazon TimeStream for metrics, Amazon MemoryDB for Redis, for fast access to leaderboard data, very much needed in a team context. Now, also on the data streaming side, we revamped the stack and enabled real-time data flows with Kinesis data streams and Kinesis data streams for analytics. And the performance has been astonishing. We've run tests with over 1 million requests per second, and it took under 70 milliseconds for data to propagate and to respond in the app. Now, the performance has also been fantastic into implementing this. 3 months to be MVP ready, and at the end, we had a demo on our pitch in Germany, and after a training and a game, everyone has seen compelling results and a fantastic experience, the players, coaches, and our teams as well. And they were convinced such that this solution is now launching across Europe to teams and clubs. And speaking of experience, let's have a look. Now, in the app, the teams get a team space, the coaches can define events, look at the timeline, look at the player statistics, and make sure that they set up the next trainings in the best way possible to improve everyone's performance, and make sure that in the game day, they have the best team on the pitch. There's much more to come, and of course, things like social integrations and social features, game summaries will soon be available. What I'm most excited about, and available today, in fact, is intensity feedback, because this proves to be a great unlocker for predicting and preventing injuries. So, isn't it remarkable what data and analytics technology helps us build and improve our enterprises, but also achieving our purposes? In our case, changing people's lives through sports. So, I'm very, very excited about all the rest of the updates and announcements that G2 has for us. Thank you. Back to him.
Thank you, Paul. Wasn't that an amazing, inspiring example of a data-driven experience that enables everyday athletes to train with a world-class coach and improve their personal record and avoid injuries? Now, let's take a quick poll. Where does your time go? Does it go in innovation or keeping your lights on? Let's take a minute to get your input. Please use the link. And folks, if you're actually watching live, you can actually vote too. Now, while you're voting, I would like to share a quick story. I'm an amateur runner, and one of my bucket list items is to run the OG marathon, from Marathon to Athens, Greece. Now, in 2010, I was one of the lucky 12,000 who signed up to run the 2,500th anniversary of the marathon. Now, like many amateur runners, while training, I got overzealous and overtrained. And I hurt my knee 4 weeks before the race and had to drop out of the race. Now, I was thinking, listening to Paul, if I had trained with an app like the one that he talked about, but for runners, maybe I would have checked off run the original marathon from my bucket list. Let's give a few more minutes for folks to actually just, put in their input to the poll. OK, let's check the result. I see that the keeping the lights on is actually just showing up a large portion. I'm excited to see that there is a lot of innovation that is happening too. But the good news here is that you can actually start wherever you are and then build out your data foundation, one funded business initiative at a time, incrementally. All right. So we saw the grab-and-go snack from Adidas, embedding analytics in the application to deliver engaging experiences. So let's talk about actually the data strategy and the data foundation that will enable this meal and all your other meals. First, we need to talk about governance. Governance often is viewed as a constraint on innovation, like many fad diets. No carbs, eat only kale, all about control and impossible to sustain. You want an approach that is flexible and is in balance with your lifestyle, like switching to salads for lunches or Greek yogurt for snacks, and tracking the weight and what you're eating in an app and auditing with a coach who's going to hold you accountable. Right governance frees your data for innovation with the right guardrails. And that's why we built Amazon Data Zone, to make it easy for data owners to share their data proactively so that everyone can find the data they need easily and work with it from their favorite tools seamlessly. And we are adding a lot more governance features. Often, access control policies are tied to people's roles. Like prescription drugs are handled only by the trained pharmacist at your grocery store. Same with data. Employee personal information is available only to HR, or the current quarter sales is restricted to the finance team. Using such organizational information for access control today is tedious. You need to do complex mapping with tags and roles. Not anymore. Trusted identity propagation with AWS IAM Identity Center makes the end user identity and all its attributes, like which department they belong to, or like which security groups they are part of, to AWS services to make access control decisions. Soon, you can create a policy in Lake Formation to make current quarter sales data restricted only to members of the finance group. And that new finance hire, he can use this data from dashboards in QuickSight and query it from Redshift Query Editor from day one without having to file any tickets to the BI or data warehouse teams. And there are other similar use cases, like ensuring a seller in an e-commerce marketplace can only see the product funnel data for the products they have listed. With multi-dialect SQL views feature, you can build a secure SQL view that joins the product funnel data with the seller's product listing data to return only the right subset. And when the seller updates their product listing, then their product funnel access automatically adapts. This pattern of fine-grained access control using SQL views is not new, but for a single engine. What is remarkable is that you can do so with Lake Formation now, centrally across many engines, Redshift, Trino, Spark, across AWS Analytics services. Let's talk data quality. In many cases, static rules that check for valid values is simply not enough. Take candy sales. It's highly seasonal and spikes during Halloween or Valentine's Day. Your data quality rules should alert you when the candy sales this Halloween is not growing as expected compared to the last Halloween. And it should not alert you when the sales return to normal as expected come November. Expecting users to understand the dynamic nature of the thousands of data sets they work with and have to manually tweak the thresholds is simply not scalable. That's why I'm really excited about the anomaly detection and dynamic rules in AWS Glue Data Quality. With this new feature, AWS Glue Data Quality will automatically gather statistics about the data and use machine learning to surface the seasonality. And you can create new data quality rules with dynamic thresholds to monitor and alert on your candy sales now. All with the serverless simplicity and cost efficiency of AWS Glue. Now, with some use cases like the vaccine research during COVID-19, innovation needs data from partners across an industry for the right breakthrough. Think of it like a big potluck dinner that becomes richer because of the diversity of dishes. Sometimes you only want to share the derived insight, not the underlying data, because that data may be highly sensitive or is your competitive differentiation. It would be like sharing the dish, but not your grandmother's secret recipe. AWS clean rooms make collaborating across organizations on sensitive data easy and flexible. With just a few clicks, you can create a clean room by customizing controls on both queries and outputs. Add your collaborators from other companies and start innovating. No copying of data required. And with the new features adding support for differential privacy and training ML models on sensitive data, organizing a data potluck party with your partners in other organizations has never been easier. Data and projects are actually growing much faster than most budgets. So our customers are looking for ways to do more with the same or less. That's why AWS is continuously focused on innovation that reduces cost, but without sacrificing performance. Take the example of the new OR1 instance family for Amazon OpenSearch. OR1 reimagines managed clusters in a cloud-native architecture. Data is stored synchronously in S3, enabling unparalleled durability. And zero data loss recovery from node failures is now automatic and takes just a few minutes. OR1 is up to 80% better in indexing throughput, and overall is 30% more efficient when compared to the current managed instances. Now, OpenSearch customers can scale their deployments reliably and economically without compromising performance. And we are making Redshift better too. Our customers love Redshift's data sharing to share live data for read access, often in a data mesh architecture. Now these data shares are writable too. With this feature, customers can separate their ETL jobs from their interactive reporting and get better performance for their dashboards at lower cost overall because the ETL can spin up and scale independently in its own compute only when needed. In fact, we have improved the price performance of engines across the board. With AI-driven optimization that Peter talked about on Monday, Redshift delivers up to 6 times better price performance compared to any other cloud data warehouse as measured by industry standard TPCDS benchmark. And it is up to 7 times better in real-world concurrent BI workloads. We made EMR Spark 70% more efficient over the past year, and EMR Spark is now over 5 times faster than latest Apache Spark open source release in TPCDS benchmark. And you will see big savings by adopting managed services for Apache Flink and Apache Kafka compared to the respective open source releases. And we have made it really easy for you to understand your AWS cost and usage with your AWS billing data available right inside QuickSight. The pre-built cost and usage dashboard makes it easy for you to get an overview of your spend and understand trends. And you have the full power of QuickSight to deep dive and drive action across your organization. Now I would like to welcome Sunil Narayan, Senior Director of Data and Analytics at GlobalFoundries.
Thank you, G2. What an amazing feast of capabilities AWS has in store for us. In this fast-paced world of technology, where innovation is the lifeblood for progress, semiconductor industry stands as a beacon for continuous advancement. And in this journey towards excellence, data lake plays the role of a key ingredient, very similar to that key component, that key ingredient that makes up your favorite dish. Of the 92 trillion global GDP, 127 billion is contributed by semiconductor foundries. And there are only 5 companies at scale in this space, and 3 of them are in China and Taiwan. In 2009, when GlobalFoundries was created, it was created with the sole thesis that world needs an alternative in semiconductor compared to Taiwan. And in 2018, we went through a transformation pivoting our strategy to focus on pervasive semiconductor market. And in 2021, we went public, and our journey to 2030 is focused on providing feature-rich semiconductor solution to our end customer. We are changing the industry that's changing the world. In 2022, our revenue was $8 billion. We have 200 plus customers across the world, and we are 13,000 employees strong. Now, with our goal to establish a global footprint, now we have fabrication units, manufacturing units across 3 continents, 2 in North America, 2 in Singapore, and 1 in Germany. When we started our journey of data lake transformation, we were in the similar spot many of you guys might have gone through or is still facing. We had disparate, siloed data sources, which makes it impossible for our applications and capabilities to be transferred across our manufacturing unit. And many of these applications and data infrastructure was residing in legacy platforms, which needed significant CapEx investment for us to upgrade. And even with that upgrade, we were very clear that it will not pave us the path to our 2030 journey. So we embarked on the data lake transformation. Imagine, if you will, a culinary masterpiece. What makes it exceptional? It's the precise measurement of the key ingredients, the seamless integration of flavors, and the meticulous attention to details. Similarly, in semiconductor manufacturing, the key ingredient is the vast amount of data that we generate in every process step. And the success lies in harnessing this data, enriching it with the right context, and extracting insights, a major feat that's only possible with the major adoption of data lake. That realization got us to first focus on architect to modernize our data and analytic platform together. Establish a unified 1GF data schema across all of the fabs, irrespective of the products that we manufacture. And to make that all happen, we had to select the right partners, and that's where we selected AWS. And to sustain it, we need to have the internal skills. So we embarked on a journey of upskilling our internal resource and building a center of excellence together with our partner for long run. And for long run, we need to ensure that we have governance model that's built and implement a target operating model upfront defined. With that, we got into defining the target architecture. This is dedicated for my technical team. A well-organized kitchen ensures that every ingredient is readily available when needed. Similarly, in a data lake, it has to ensure the relevant information is at fingertip, ready to be analyzed and utilized to enhance that decision-making process. This accessibility is the cornerstone of agility in responding to the market trend. This realization helped us to architect our data lake for our future needs, for enabling our 2030 vision. At this stage, for data lake, we do push the data from multiple sources from our on-prem and various systems. That includes our manufacturing execution system, tools, tool data, sensor data, our engineering data, which are the measurement of our product to ensure the right quality is met, and that's also augmented with our enterprise data, which is very crucial for supply chain planning. All of this data we push into AWS through various technology stacks. But in the AWS zone, we use native AWS products as much as possible. And it goes through row zone, curated, and aggregated. In the aggregated zone, we use Redshift as our backend. Most of our BI tools and pre-can analytic solutions leverages the data from Redshift. And there are data types that doesn't belong to an OLAP environment like Redshift, but is still needed for our analytics use case. But we are able to let the data belong to where it belongs and seamlessly access it, leveraging Spectrum and Athena framework. This enables the users to seamlessly access the data and not worry about where my data sits. And in order to make all this happen, all the data need to be properly discovered and governed. And we are in the process of extending that with Glue and Data Zone. Moreover, just as a gourmet dish that evolves in every iteration, the semiconductor manufacturing process benefits from continuous improvement. Data lake empowers us to apply advanced analytics, machine learning, and AI to uncover patterns, optimize process, and predict future trends. Like the previous slide, which was dedicated for my technical team, this is dedicated for my business users, who always ask, so what? You have a great architecture, you have built a great data lake, so what? What does it mean for business? That's what this is all about. This shows us, earlier, we were not able to compare our tool data to identify which tool performs the best in class across all the fab units. And that was just not possible with our on-prem infrastructure due to the sheer power of infrastructure that is needed. Now with the data lake, we are able to compare the tool performance across all the fabs, compare to the best in class, and identify what's causing the white space in the tools. Semiconductor manufacturing process is a complex one, but for simplicity's sake, let's compare it to baking a cake. The difference here is it takes 3 months to bake this cake. So every day, every hour, as it goes through multiple processes, the recipe needs to be followed exactly correct. And there are many factors that could affect the quality of those products. And earlier, we had to spend a lot of semi-automated, but a lot of manual effort to identify defect patterns and identify what's causing that defect. And engineers were spending more than 12 hours classifying those images, which are really hard to identify in these wafers. And now, with the data lake powered with machine learning, we are able to do image classification. Now, that same task, we are able to accomplish in less than 3 minutes. Another use case is predictive maintenance. In semiconductor, the heavy CapEx investment is involved in tools, in buying tools. So anytime when a tool is taken down for maintenance, that's a significant drain on productivity. And now, with the data lake and machine learning, we are able to go in the direction of predictive maintenance. Earlier, it was mostly based off consumption-based and time-based. Whether you need maintenance or not, in this time you have to do the maintenance. Now, we are able to leverage predictive maintenance and extend the tool life. That means more products and planning better for the maintenance activity. So what's next? We have built architecture. We are able to generate the business value, but what's next? The MLOps framework, what we have built over time, or more than a year, now we are able to extend that for our GenAI use case. Build the right guardrails and build the COE around enabling GenAI use cases. We have the data, we have the machine learning ops structure in place, and now we are boldly getting into the GenAI world. And we are very sure we can make ML use cases more ubiquitous across all of the business, not just in the core manufacturing. And we are in the process of building our data products, data and analytic products, that not only makes the life of engineers easy in the company, but also enables our external customers who can leverage this value. Just as a chef's creativity knows no bound when armed with a well-stocked kitchen, semiconductor industry can push the boundaries of innovation with the arsenal of insight unlocked by data lake powered by AWS Cloud. Thank you all. Over to G2.
Thank you, Sunil, for that amazing value that your team has created using the 1GF data foundation built on AWS. Now, unlike the fried kind, your chips are healthy and keeps our economy ticking. Now, let's switch from building your data strategy to simplifying your data landscape. Farm to Table is all about removing that middleman and bringing things right to your fingertips. At the last reInvent, we shared our vision for a zero ETL future to enable easy access to all your data from all your favorite tools without the burden of writing and managing ETL. Like this little girl who has removed all the middlemen to get to that farm fresh tomato, we are delivering integrations to make that possible for you. Now with a simple configuration, you can bring your data in Aurora MySQL, Aurora PostgreSQL, RDS MySQL, or DynamoDB right into Redshift in near real time for fast SQL analytics and interactive dashboards. And with the high performance integration between Spark and Redshift, all this data is ready for big data processing in EMR and machine learning with SageMaker. And that's not all. We are bringing zero ETL access to your data in applications like Salesforce, Amazon Connect, or your logs in CloudTrail. With these integrations, your data in these applications will appear as tables in your AWS Glue Data Catalog with just a few clicks, no copying of data needed. And all your favorite tools, Redshift, EMR, Athena, SageMaker, just work. Let's see this in action with a demo using Salesforce. Okay, so meet Bob, Kyle, and Maya. They work at an e-commerce company that is catering to outdoor enthusiasts. And they are tasked to come up with a better marketing campaign for the holidays, powered by data and ML in Salesforce Data Cloud and AWS. Okay, first, Bob is preparing data that Kyle needs using Salesforce Data Cloud. With just a few clicks, he's bringing new data, like product catalog, purchase history, or web engagement from Redshift into Data Cloud. Once he has this, he can enhance the Data Cloud data models using this additional data, like the purchase history, and share this graph of data models back to Kyle. Now, Kyle spins up his SageMaker Data Wrangler, connects to this Data Cloud data, and prepares the data as he normally would, building a purchase propensity model. And he says, Bob, you're ready to go. Bob can, with just a few clicks, bring that model into Data Cloud and activate it. And he can use this model to extend the Salesforce Data Cloud models, like adding a purchase propensity score in the Data Cloud. And with this new purchase propensity score, he can then create a marketing campaign using Data Cloud marketing segmentation to identify the high propensity customers. And now he needs to get it to Maya. So to do that, he creates a new share in Redshift, adds all the necessary data models, including case or customer profiles, and then hit save. Now, Maya can find these tables right in her query editor. She does the analysis and visualizes that in QuickSight. Done. As you can see, with zero ETL integration between AWS Analytics and machine learning services and Salesforce Data Cloud, Bob, Kyle, and Maya were able to seamlessly collaborate and launch this new campaign. So I want to go back to an important data type, logs. Your application logs in CloudTrail or in your S3 data lake, they are best analyzed using OpenSearch. You can simply configure your data lake tables now as a data source in OpenSearch and start querying. No indexing needed to get started. Of course, you would enable indexing to make your dashboards fast and responsive. With all these zero ETL integrations, you have now easy access to all your data from all your favorite tools with unified governance. Now, bento boxes are a marvel at managing your food. They are flexible, organized, and easy to use. It'll be fantastic to have a bento box for your data lake. Transactional data lake formats like Apache Iceberg are really great for keeping data fresh at using near real-time ingestion. We support transactional data lakes broadly, including Redshift that we just announced. But often, this generates too many small files that makes your query slow and expensive. Now you can turn on storage optimization on your Apache Iceberg tables in AWS Glue Data Catalog with just one click. Let the system monitor changes to the table and automatically trigger compaction so that your queries are faster and you save money. Anyone here use Meal Kit service? I think they are a great simplifier. You get to make and enjoy healthy and delicious home-cooked meal, but without the hassle of shopping and prepping. With Serverless, you get to do the same. You get to focus on your application or do your analysis and rely on us, AWS, with all of the heavy lifting with the infrastructure stuff. That's why we offer serverless option for all our analytics services, and the only one in the industry to do so. And I'm really excited about the addition of Vector Engine for Amazon OpenSearch. Vector Engine efficiently stores billions of vector embeddings generated from large language models like the ones in Amazon Bedrock, and will respond to your vector search queries in milliseconds. And you can combine it with powerful text search capability of OpenSearch and easily implement hybrid and RAG patterns to bring engaging generative AI experience to your application without any of the hassle of managing infrastructure. Now I would like to welcome Tom Andriola, Vice Chancellor of UC Irvine.
When I first came to the university, I had spent a career beforehand in consulting as a chief information officer and as an enterprise software and data solutions provider. And I did that living and working on 4 different continents. And so when I came to university, I asked the question that I typically would ask when I dropped into a new environment. What's the core business that we're in? And I heard many different perspectives, but one stuck with me. And that was one professor who said, Tom, we're in the business of creating the future. You see, the purpose of a research university is to push the boundaries of discovery and create new knowledge. And then through teaching, we give that knowledge to our students who go out into the world, work for established companies, create new companies, become policymakers, and they shape tomorrow. So you see, we're in the business of creating the future. This stuck with me as I tried to define what my role would be. But there was one missing piece, and that was we're also an organization, a business, with over 50,000 constituents in the form of students, patients, faculty members, doctors, staff, who are making decisions every day. And in a data-driven organization, we have to make better decisions today than we did yesterday, consistently make them better, make them faster, and increasingly at scale. And so I believe every organization needs to reinvent itself as a data company, just as a university is now a data company. And so let me give you a very pragmatic example, especially if you're a parent. Student success. See, we believe that we're creating a new definition of what we mean by student success to meet society's expectations of us. And this is the 3rd generation. First generation was actually pretty straightforward. College was very exclusive, very small number of people get in, you put the bar very high, and you could almost guarantee success. But then as society realized that everyone should have access to universities, it became harder. We let in an increasingly diverse set of individuals. At UCI, 87% of our students identify as non-white, for example. They come from a variety of backgrounds and circumstances. And to support them and generate a level of student success, we built a lot of scaffolding around their university experience in the form of people. Now, we all know that that's a good model, but not a very scalable model. And some of the challenges we have in higher education, and I'm a parent of 3 and concerned about the cost, is we need a different model. And so Student Success 3.0 for us is really rethinking the model of how we drive student success in an increasingly digital world. Student Success 3.0 for us means it's going to be powered by digital. More and more technology interactions that leave data signals, aggregating that data and using analytics, both for structured and unstructured data, that allow us to understand our students. Thinking longitudinally, meaning from the first time a student expresses an interest to come to our university, through the first time that they land their job after university, and connecting with them while they're a lifelong learner. What are all the digital touch points that we have, and how do we think about that? not just tracking the data about what happens in their classes, but what student groups are they in? What internships and practicums have they gotten involved with as they develop their core competencies for career readiness? These are all holistic thinking ideas that we use from other industries but not yet come into higher education. And then also, how do we stop thinking about the class of 2024 and start thinking about each and every student as an individual on their own personal journey to get to the goals that they define, and we're empowering them through data in the same way that the data that comes from this Oura ring that I wear empowers me to make better decisions about my health. This is what we believe Student Success 3.0 is all about. Now, I was taught that any technology presentation must have a slide with arrows pointing to boxes. So the bingo card has been punched. And of course, this is our architecture, but I'm going to talk about 3 mindset shifts that have come with this architecture of us working with AWS. Mind shift number 1 is, and you'll recognize this one, it's from data warehouse to data lake. But we're going beyond and talking about what I think of as the data resort. Because having a data lake doesn't make it an interesting place to go and stay. Right? You have to have services, things that draw people there and keep people there, that add value to their visit. G2's not going to come to my data resort unless I'm serving mango on the menu. Right? The second shift for us is one from data hoarding to data sharing to thinking data ecosystems. You see, universities were designed to be open and collaborative environments, and we are that way around our research. But I found our data assets, our data mentality was not that way. And so much of what the services that we have available to us in the AWS platform and the ecosystem, whether it's Redshift, right, or Zero ETL, or end-to-end governance, all give us the opportunity to really think about how do we share data across our enterprise. And when we talk about ecosystems, what we mean is how do we connect with other organizations, whether that's another organization like ours that we want to aggregate our data to study complex problems, or the continuation of education from the community college system to the 4-year institution. How do we put those ecosystems together? And then the third shift is one from thinking of AWS as a vendor to a strategic thought partner. You see, we didn't know, and we still don't completely know what Student Success 3.0 should look like, but working backwards was a great framework for us to redefine a future state and then work backwards to how we needed to enable it and what the competencies we needed in the organization and the data we needed to bring together. And so I put this slide up here to show you this is where the world is going. See, this is a picture from a class that is a collaboration between my office and the dean of the business school. The class is called Into the Metaverse, where 40 students are learning about immersive experiences as a technology stack, as a business growth concept, and as a place for them to learn and interact with each other. They'll be doing their final projects in an immersive experience with a headset. Here's the thing when we talk about this from the standpoint of Student Success 3.0 and data lakes. This is going to kick off new data that we've never seen before. I doubt it's going to be structured data. We're going to get data on things like interactions, portal jumps, eye movements. We needed an architecture that could be futuristic in its mindset and agile to accept new types of data form, understanding how to use structured and unstructured data and the tools that sit on top of it. You see, I believe that the world we know today and the world that's coming at us in an increasingly digital world, the certainty I know from that is there will be more data. The uncertainty is where it'll take us. But I believe at the collision of those two worlds are a world where Mango is infinitely available, and it will be our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Who would have thought? I think Mango and data are going to trend together now. So I'm missing a couple of slides. All right. I think that Tom's example of reimagining student success powered by data really resonates with me. I just sent my daughter to college, and as a parent, I have a lot of apprehension, and this is actually amazing and inspiring. So we built a robust and nimble data strategy. We simplified the landscape, all in support of a funded business initiative. Now it's time to get the users cooking. So what do they want? They want easy access to all the right data. They want intuitive experiences to work with it, and they need to be able to collaborate. Now, one of the hardest parts of actually working with data is understanding it and finding it. Imagine trying to eat healthy without all the nutritional facts or expiry dates or allergy information. But we do this with our data all the time. It would be wonderful if all the data in DataZone comes with great documentation about what's in it and how to use it. But documentation can be tedious. Maybe not. With the great new feature of AI recommendation for descriptions in DataZone, data owners can simply tap into generative AI to describe the data in business terms, describe the appropriate usage, and more. Just click the button, review the recommendations, refine, and hit publish. Now, having Alexa in the kitchen helping you through the right recipes and the steps one by one is very helpful. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we had an assistant just like that for our data tasks? We heard you, and I'm really excited that Amazon Q is coming to your favorite data tools. Now you can specify your data integration task in natural language and let Amazon Q build you a ready-to-deploy job in code or as boxes and arrows. Just test, refine, and deploy to production. It can help you with debugging your failures and how to fix them. It's like having an expert in Spark, Python, and AWS Glue working with you on all your tasks. Amazon Q can help you with the SQL tasks too. Just specify the query you want to see in natural language, and Q would generate the right SQL matching the schema of your warehouse or lake. And generative AI is coming to your OpenSearch open source as well. You can dive into your logs, get automated summaries, and more using the generative AI toolkit. You can take it for a spin at the playground today. So we've prepared the data with Glue, analyzed with Redshift, shared it with great documentation in DataZone. And we did it all much faster with the power of Amazon Q and generative AI. Now we need to put it in the hands of every user to enable timely data-driven decision. And the best way to do that is with QuickSight. You know, they say that we eat with our eyes first. A beautifully created dish or a data story makes it easy for you to communicate your insights with your team and engage them to take the right action. And Amazon Q can help you with that too. With Amazon Q and QuickSight, users can translate their analysis into a compelling data story, summarizing the analysis, sharing the insights, and describing and tracking the actions that the organization need to take. And Q will help you with other BI tasks as well. An author can simply specify what they want to see, and Q will generate the dashboard. Readers can better understand using exec summaries and explore the data with natural language. Let's see a demo and see how this works. So we're meeting Deepa, Kevin, and Tracy. They work at an auto insurance company, and they are working together to reduce fraudulent claims. First, we meet Deepa. She's a data engineer, and she is using the generative AI-powered description to make claims data easily discoverable by her teammates. She reviews the generated documentation, validates the suggested use and column descriptions, and then hits publish. Now, Kevin can actually come in and find the data, but using their own words. You know, use accident data instead of claims, and still find the data. With one click, they are ready to work with it. Let's continue the journey with Kevin. Kevin can see the data in his query editor. Now, this is a new table for Kevin, but he now has Amazon Q. He can simply specify using natural language what he wants to, what he wants to understand, and Amazon Q would generate the SQL for him. And he's ready to update the claims analysis dashboard with this new data. So first, Kevin wants to create a new calculated field to bucketize the deductible values as low, medium, or high. He can use Q for that. And then he wants to add a new chart that correlates the size of the claims with the size of deductible. Sankey looks good. Let's add it to the dashboard. And then he enables the generative BI features, summaries, and stories for this dashboard. Let's finish up with Tracy, our business user. So Tracy starts the analysis by reviewing the exec summary. Now, it shows that Saturdays and New Hampshire are outliers. They get curious, and they start digging in. Now, what should be going on in New Hampshire on Saturdays? You can explore the data using natural language and follow where the data takes you. Once they're done, they can create a data story summarizing the findings and recommended actions to their team. Just add the key visuals saved along the way in the analysis and put Amazon Q to work. Now, this story shines light on the rise in claims without a police report. And perhaps there is a high likelihood of these being staged accidents. And Tracy recommends building a partnership between the insurance investigators and the local law enforcement officials and builds it a right visual to track progress over time. Easy as pie. So let's recap. Data is your transformation differentiator. And to turn data into a strategic asset, you need a robust and nimble data foundation. You get there by building a modern data strategy, simplify your landscape, empower your users, and embed data-driven experiences in every application. And you can rely on us, AWS, as your trusted partner to build with. To get your data flywheel going, get started with building your data strategy using the Data-Driven Everything program. Partner with the AWS Generative AI Innovation Center to prototype your big generative AI ideas, and choose from over 150 training courses to build your team's expertise in data, analytics, and machine learning. Thank you. Please take a few moments to give us feedback and have a wonderful rest of reInvent.